Phoenix International Raceway set to resume NASCAR on-track activity on an action-packed Friday, where the temperature has climbed to a current 74 degrees. And NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying is on track. 47 cars for 43 spots in tonight's Bashas Supermarkets 200. Mike Joy with Hermie Sadler, and an interesting field of cars. And this compressed schedule of all into one day has really made an interesting scenario that these teams have to deal with right now.
Mike, they had a 2-hour practice session this morning, started at 8 o'clock this morning. Cool racetrack, a lot of grip now. 2:30 this afternoon. I mean, the racetrack has lost a lot of grip. We saw the air temperature up 20 degrees. The racetrack temperature has gotten more, heated up more than that. So these guys are not going to have the kind of grip they had this morning. So got to be careful not to overdrive during this qualifying session.
And knockout qualifying will have 17 drivers contesting 13 available positions. We start with Michael McDowell for JTG Doherty Racing. His best and only Phoenix start, 27th last fall in the Nationwide Series. Of course, he's also been here in a Sprint Cup car.
We always talk about, Mike, you don't want to be first, but this is the worst kind of scenario for Michael McDowell to be the first guy on the racetrack. A lot of heat in the racetrack. In 30 minutes, the track has been sitting since the last Sprint Cup practice.
Now, he was 12th in practice and lays down a 28-124. Here's Dick Berggren.
Well, Kyle Busch just climbing into his race car. He was the fastest man in practice. He's led nearly half the laps this year in Nationwide racing. What do you got for us? Another pole run?
Well, we'll try. We'll see what the Z-Line Designs Toyota here gets. But, we're looking more towards tonight. We got a points race. We know Harvick's going to be strong. Joey should be good again. So we'll see how this 18 Camry does here right now.
Okay, good luck with it. Thank you.
Kyle Busch will roll off 7th. Greg Biffle in the City Ford. This will be his 11th race at Phoenix. He has 1 pole and 2 victories here.
Mike, we'll see what Greg Biffle could do compared to what he ran in practice. But Michael McDowell slowed down about 0.4 of a second, just what we talked about. Not as much grip or speed in the racetrack. So we've got to see who can manage that the best right now.
Biffle was 3rd in practice.
He struggled with this car most the whole practice session, Mike, and went right to the top of the chart right at the end of practice.
2 wins here in the Nationwide Series and 1 in the Camping World Truck Series. Biffle is quickest, 27.86, and he's about half second off, Hermie.
Yeah, I mean, right now, half a second. And these first 3 or 4 guys, there's probably going to be a little bit of grease and oil coming up through the top of the racetrack with this sun being down on it. These 2 guys did not get the preferred draw so far. He picks it up a little bit on lap 2, though, Mike.
27.503 for Biffle.
It's almost within 1/10 of what he ran this morning, so not a bad lap right there for Greg Biffle.
Jeff Burton, the Holiday Inn Chevrolet, started 3rd here in 2000, went on to win the race. He also has 2 Sprint Cup wins here. He's going to run about a dozen races this season. Stephen Light finished 11th for this team last week.
Got a little rotating seat in this car, Mike, between Jeff Burton, Stephen Light, and Clint Boyer. And got a neat little promotion going on. They're trying to figure out whose name's going to be on this car for the second half of the season. But Jeff Burton, Mike, is always a factor in this car.
Yeah, whoever has the best record among those 3 drivers, their name will be above the door for the whole of the second half of the season, no matter who is in the seat. Now, Burton was 8th in practice with a 27.61. His first lap is a 27.74. Second quick. Now, in the last hour, when we saw the Sprint Cup drivers make their mock qualifying runs, oftentimes that second lap was faster.
Same thing we saw with Greg Biffle. He picked up on lap 2. We'll see if Jeff Burton can do the same thing. And a lot of it is more feeling at the racetrack with this car. Hadn't been on the track in a long time. We'll see if Jeff can pick it up in lap 2. Slows down a little bit.
Yep, about 0.3. So it's Biffle, Burton, and McDowell. Here's Dick.
With Kevin Harvick, and of all the drivers who will participate in nationwide qualifying this afternoon, this guy has won more races than anybody else, a total of 6 across 3 divisions. Got ready to go get the pole today?
Oh, I don't know about the pole, but Rheem Chevrolet is really good. Actually, we have Rheem tankless water heaters on here this week, so car's really good in race trim. We'll see what we can do. I know it's got to be better than the other one in the other garage, so.
All right, good luck, Kevin.
Yeah, he has really struggled with his Sprint Cup Series car again this weekend.
Yeah, he struggled a lot during practice and qualifying at Bristol. Racetracks like that, you really expect Kevin Harvick to run well at. Kind of odd that they'd have that much trouble.
Well, like Darrell said during the practice show, you come to Phoenix with a car that Kevin Harvick can't run well in, you know the problem's not with the driver. Here is Brendan Gaughan. This is he is a Nationwide Series rookie. That always kind of astounds and confounds me because of the success he's had, not just in the Truck Series, but also with a full season of Sprint Cup under his belt. But he is a rookie candidate, driving for Rusty Wallace. Got a pole at Bristol, and his best finish 7th at Las Vegas. He's the runner-up in the rookie standings right now.
Not too far from home, Las Vegas native, and just to get back out here on the West Coast a little bit. I'm sure he'll have a lot of family and friends pulling for him this weekend, and see if he can pick it up a little bit on lap 2.
19th in practice, 3rd quickest on his first lap, and that's where he stays with a 27.80. He gains 0.2, but does not move up the board. Coming up, Scott Lagasse, Brad Keselowski, and Kyle Busch. Speed coverage of NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, the official auto insurance provider of NASCAR. Scott Lagasse Jr.'s first lap 28.34, and he picks up to a 28 flat, and that moves him up to 4th right now. Chris Devoda.
And the current pole sitter, Greg Biffle, not the best draw on a day like today, so let's talk about the handling. Is your car where you need it to be for tonight?
Well, I expected maybe a little bit quicker out of it. You know, we ran a 38 or something earlier in practice, but you know, the track's heated up a lot of rubber's gotten on the racetrack, so it was a little too loose, which is a good sign for tonight. You know, I think the car is going to be really good city financial car for tonight, so the guys just did a great job on it, so we'll see how long that lasts. I'm sure it won't be the pole, but hopefully a top 10.
Former nationwide winner here, Mike.
Thanks, Krista. Here's Brad Keselowski, who in the last 2 races has jumped from 15th to 5th in the nationwide standings. This will be his 5th trip to Phoenix.
Yeah, they really turned this season around. Had some trouble early on, but this is a good race car driver, Mike. I mean, he's really showing a lot of promise and potential, and these kind of racetracks, he needs to get a little bit more consistent at these flat. He's, you know, ironically picked up to some of the bigger tracks faster than he has some of these kind of tracks, so he needs to have a good run here this weekend.
Second quick right now, 27.69. That's about 0.2 off what Greg Biffle ran. Fastest Chevy so far. Might have a chance to take the pole away from Biffle, but
got in turn 3 too hot, Mike, and got sideways on him. He had to get out of the throttle right there. That'll hurt him on lap 2.
I messed up.
Took a big swing at it and missed.
He did that.
So Keselowski is 2nd. And here's Dick Berggren.
And Hermie was talking about people with potential. Put David Reagan's name in that category as well. He was 11th quick in practice. How much have you changed the car since practice?
Not a whole lot. We didn't get a good qualifying run in, spent a lot of the practice in race trim, so pretty confident about our Discount Tire Ford. This is the home office of Discount Tires, so it would be pretty special to win a race for all their employees and everyone, but pretty confident in our crew chief Mike Kelly and everyone associated with this Ford. We'll give it a whirl tonight.
And that trip to the victory lane is coming soon for David Reagan, either in this division or in Sprint Cup racing, one or the other.
Thanks, Dick. Kyle Busch, the Z-Line Designs Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. He has 3 poles here, leads all drivers, 2 victories, and he's led almost 450 laps here at Phoenix.
Doesn't look like he's got off turn 2 too well on this first lap, Mike. Have to see if it'll come in. And another thing we don't really know is who's on stickers and who's on scuffs. So maybe he's planning on stickers to get a good lap on lap 2, but not a very good first lap.
Well, he was fastest in practice, Hermie. That almost looked like a get up to speed lap.
Yeah. Well, something we don't talk about a lot getting up to speed through turns 3 and 4 to get the green flag, very important. And that corner is very flat. You got to hit it just right. But looks like he's going to pick it up on lap 2, Mike. It's going to be close.
Good entry into 3, holds the bottom. Gets off 4 just fine. Not enough to dislodge Greg Biffle. Second place by half a tenth.
That was pretty good, son. Felt good anyway. Guess it wasn't too good.
Oh, look good.
Anytime he's not P1, he's disappointed, no question about it. But he slowed down some from practice, but a good recovery from lap 1.
You saying anytime he's not P1, he's teed off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kenny Wallace, the U.S. Border Patrol, number 28 Chevy.
You know, Kenny had a good car in practice. We were following race runs, 10-lap average runs, and this car was one of the best 4 or 5 cars on long runs. We'll see what he's got for qualifying.
424 career starts. And a championship runner-up. Second in all-time starts now. He's passed Tommy Houston, and he's second to Jason Keller on the all-time list. But this is going to be a disappointing run here, it looks like.
Well, there again, we'll see what he can, if he can get a good run off turn 4 to get a head start on lap 2. But this is what has hurt this team a little bit this year.
Yep.
Is qualifying. He's actually been racing very well in this car, much better than he's been qualifying. But this is such a big track position race, and Mike, it's only 200 laps, so you cannot afford to start way in the back and have a chance to win.
And he about ran out of racetrack coming off 2 there, Hermie.
He's wheeling it.
Yeah, but it doesn't want to wheel. Doesn't want to wheel. Doesn't want to turn.
Wheeled, yeah.
No. Wallace anchors the field right now, 8th of 8 with a 28.21, and the second lap marginally quicker. Greg Biffle quickest so far. Coming up, Morgan Shepherd, Kevin Harvick, and Bernie Lamar. Tonight on Speed, NASCAR's big Friday night house party trackside from Phoenix. Midnight Eastern Time. Martin Truex and David Stremme are the guests. 67-year-old Morgan Shepherd on track for his 247th career start in this series. 77 of them after he turned 60 years old. And Shepherd right now 28.68. That is 9th of 9. But he's 21st in the standings. Last year at this point he was 45th. So a big pickup for Morgan Shepherd. Dick?
Some of the things that could be considered frightening would be to stand at the top of the Empire State Building and look over the rail at the ground, or to step around here at Phoenix and nearly step on a rattlesnake. Or you could do what Jason Leffler has done and win a midget race. Midgets are little tiny race cars. They weigh less than 1,000 pounds. And this guy won a race in one of those here with no fear whatsoever. Abnormally brave. Kevin Harvick's on the Speedway.
Thanks, Dick. The midgets, by the way, are the cars. They refer to the cars. Let's make that clear. There's the Rheem tankless water heater Chevy. Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Kevin didn't know what kind of car he'd have for qualifying, but if he could somehow bag up his practice time, Mike, would give him at least a chance. But he washed up the racetrack a little bit right there, get into turn 3. Again, we'll see if he can pick it up on lap 2. A lot of guys have been able to pick up a little bit on lap 2.
Kelly Byers drove the 33 last week at Nashville, finished 4th.
Great run last week in this car.
Yeah. And Harvick's on it. Hey. Was good going into 1 and 2 and gave up a little on exit.
You know, Kevin was happy to finally win a car and win a race driving his own car, but this is a good program. They're very competitive in this nationwide series. Not going to do it for the pole, though, Mike.
No, third quick for Harvick, picks up from 6th to 3rd. Krista?
Well, Mike, that does drop Brad Keselowski down 1 spot, but listening to you on the radio, had it not been for 1 turn out there, it could have been a pole run.
Yeah, we had a great car. Just, you know, came in on a second lap through 1 and 2, had a really good 1 and 2, and just got too loose down turn 3. I got a little overzealous with it and really charged the corner. It just didn't quite stick. But all in all, a good run for the Delphi Chevrolet. We'll take it. Qualifying hasn't been our strongest suit, so we're ready for a good, solid race.
All right, thanks, Brad.
Bernie Lamar on track. Has a NASCAR West Series win here. and a Southwest Series win here, and he's a new daddy.
Yeah, he had a picture in the magazine with he and wife Nikki Taylor, and puts a different perspective on things.
But the job remains the same. Get this car started as far up in the field as possible. The Dollar General machine right now 10th of 10.
And you heard Brad Keselowski talking. It's so easy to do, Mike. We talk about overdriving these corners in the middle of the day like today. The driver can want to do it, but the car's got to want to be up for the task as well, and it doesn't work if it's not that way.
9th on his first lap, which equals his best Phoenix start. He's had 2 top 15 finishes in the 3 races that he has made this year.
You can see the front of the car, Mike. He's taped off solids, so they're trying to get all they can get.
Yep. Car took off just a little bit there, exiting 4, and he'll be 7th with a lap of 27.86. Coming up, Eric McClure, David Reagan, O'Quinn, and Wallace. Eric McClure is 19th in the point standings. This will be his 5th race at Phoenix. First lap, he's 11th quickest. This hefty Ford. And lap 2 picks him up to 8th place. Let's get back to Dick Berggren and that midget race winner.
Indeed, and my apologies to you. I misunderstood the voice in my ear and thought we were supposed to leave it. Midgets go about 30 miles an hour faster and weigh about 1/3 as much as these nationwide cars. How much of a thrill is it to drive one of those things here?
Oh, they're a big thrill in a little car. They're actually harder to drive down the straightaway than they are in the corners because of all the stagger and everything, and they're so narrow on the left side. So it's a lot of fun. They get a big draft, and I watched races a lot of years before I actually got to drive one here, and I'm lucky enough to win a race, Copper Classic in the early 90s. And then I came back and did it last year, and it had been about 8 years, and I remember how exciting it was in the race. I think we finished 4th, but it was maybe a little more fun than I wanted to have that night.
Scary stuff driving a midget at that speed here, Mike.
Thanks, Dick. On track, David Reagan from Unadilla, Georgia. 3rd in the series points with 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s.
Another one that's not going to be happy with lap 1. We'll see if he can pick it up on lap 2. But a lot of guys, I think, are misjudging the lack of grip in this racetrack right now, Mike.
10th on his first lap, really packs it into turn 1. You saw the tracker move way to the left and then give up in the middle of the corner.
He was the 11th quickest in practice, so you would think that he would be a contender to get a top 5, but he's really going to have a good corner here to do that.
Going to be close. Not quite. 6th for Reagan, a 27.74. Danny O'Quinn, Stephen Wallace, Tony Raines are next. The NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race, only on speed and only 29 days away. As Danny O'Quinn flashes past, 13th on his first lap, picks up to 10th on lap 2 with a 27.99 for the Coburn, Virginia driver, who is 26th in the point standings.
He went the other way, Mike. He picked up about 3/10 from his practice time this morning. So good pickup for Danny O'Quinn.
And here's Steve Wallace, who is 12th in the standings, 3 top 10s, 4 top 15s. And this will be his 6th trip to Phoenix in a nationwide car. Oh boy. Wallace is in the fence. And that's that.
Tell you, turn 1 is a tough corner to get down into. I mean, it's hard on the brakes.
Tire, dude.
We'll have to look again, Hermie. Did the right rear go down going into the corner or as a result of contact? Let's see.
That tire's already going down, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you saw the car take that first little hitch And that was the tire letting go. Now, since he did take the green flag, that is his qualifying run.
It's a tough break for him. I mean, he was not fastest in practice, Mike, and had a pretty good race car, but something, he ran over something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tire went first, definitely. You could see going in turn one, the tire was already flat and off the rim, so tough break for him.
Now, Wallace is a guaranteed starter. He's in the top 30, has run all the races. So he'll be in the show tonight. The question is, will it be in this car? Now, watch that back end just drop.
You can see the car sink. You get on the brakes right.
There, oh, you saw something fly up right there, a piece of metal.
He ran over a piece of metal right there. He drops in the corner, but you can see it. As soon as you can see this right rear tire, Mike,
yep,
right there, it's
gone.
already gone and starting to come off the rim. You can see it right there. I mean, that tire is already flat and ends up coming completely off the rim right there. Nothing he could do right there. But you're right, Mike. He ran over something right at the end of the front straightaway.
Well, it's clear he ran over a piece of metal. The question would be, did it come off of his car, or was it something that was already there? Let's take one more look and really slow this down and see if there was something on the track past start finish.
He's coming down the front straightaway right now, getting ready to enter the corner and start his braking, and just in a second you'll see a piece of metal fly off right there. It goes. You see it right there.
I didn't see anything on the track as he approached that area, so perhaps that could have been something that came off Steve's car and caused that tire to go down. Not sure. He's okay.
But he's not going to be happy.
No, but the question will be, can they fix it? And in this limited amount of time, I would doubt it, or have to go to a backup.
Yeah, that's the kind of the dilemma you face with an impound situation like this, qualifying. These guys will be on the starting line here in a relatively short order, so these guys are going to have to evaluate this very fast and figure out what they need to do. But a lot of damage right there, Mike, as you can tell. But NASCAR officials and his crew guys taking a look at it, they're trying to console him a little bit, but that's a helpless feeling for a race car driver.
Yeah, and we're only 3 hours from the start of the race, and here comes the backup, so it looks like that decision may have been made.
Tough break.
Tony Raines, former ASA champ, will be next in the Long John Silver's Chevrolet. Tony 17th in series points.
Tony was 32nd fastest in practice, Mike. He ran a 28.202. See if he can pick it up a little bit from practice.
I think this will be Tony's 200th Nationwide Series start. He's made 199 starts in this series, so 200 tonight. 14th on the first lap. And the second one looks a little better. I guess everybody, Hermie, is still questioning how much grip is there in this track. They practiced at 8 in the morning. Most of these drivers have not been on the track since. I saw a little flash of metal there from the left side. Little piece of debris being flipped up in the air. Not sure what that was.
28.31 for Tony Raines. He'll be in 14th. And the thing, Mike, as a driver, you get lap 1 under your belt and you say, now, I know what the car feels like. I want to step it up for lap 2. But by that time, the tires, a lot of grip. The tires have heated up, got slick. You've lost a lot of grip. It's hard to really step it up and drive harder on the second lap because the grip's just not there.
Joey Logano coming off a big win in Tennessee last week.
This ought to tell us a little something about where the racetrack is, Mike. He was P2 in practice, and he's got a lot of momentum and confidence coming off that win at Nashville last week.
Time to beat 27:50, Greg Biffle. Got a good middle and not quite as good an exit off turn 2 as Biffle did.
Good thing they don't have out of bounds here, like they do at Daytona and Talladega, because these guys use all of this racetrack, including the apron, to get these cars to turn. But a good corner there, Mike.
A great one. And where are we? We're P1 for Logano, 27.36 on the pole. Remember, he won a Camping World Series race here.
P1 with a 36. Don't overdrive it.
2 years ago.
Good words right there by the crew chief. Don't overdrive it. He's been watching speed as well, telling him a lot of guys are making a mistake on lap 2. And he's going to just about run the same speed on lap 2 as he did on lap 1, looks like.
Within a 1/100th of a second. So Logano moves to the
Identical
pole.
laps. Good job, babe.
He has 3 poles in just 24 starts and 2 victories. Led Joe Gibbs Racing to its 3rd 1-2 finish last week. And for the first time led the most laps, 95 of 225. Michael Waltrip has made 4 starts in 2009. This will be his 8th at Phoenix.
Sporting the Best Western colors this weekend, Mike. I think some of their operations are based out here in the Phoenix area, so a big weekend for him with Best Western.
A great entry to the corner, but gave some up on exit. Gaining a little back in the middle of 3 and 4. 11th for Waltrip on the first lap. 4th fastest Toyota right now.
Keep it going here, Mike. He'll have a pretty good pickup on lap 2.
Very good. From 11th to 6th for Michael Waltrip with a 27.73.
Good run. Good run.
This is DJ Kennington, the Northern Provincial Dodge from St. Thomas, Ontario. 3rd place finisher and runner-up in the Canadian Tire Series the last 2 years. And right now he is 16th with a 28.17. Carl Edwards. This is his 9th Phoenix appearance. He has 1 pole and 2 wins here. And he has a 23-point lead over Kyle Busch right now.
And if you watched our practice show this morning, he missed over half of that first and only Nationwide Series practice. Had some contact with Bernie Lamar first lap on the racetrack. So he's had very limited practice this morning, Mike, to get ready for this qualifying run.
3rd on his first lap, 27.51. That is a faster first lap than everybody except Joey Logano.
He nailed coming off turn 2 there on lap 2. If he can do the same thing at this end, he's going to put himself in great shape.
Looks like by 3/10 or so, he is going to be on the pole.
Who needs
Carl
practice?
Edwards, P1 with a 27.12.
Who needs practice?
Great job there. Great job.
That is a 1/4 second faster than Joey Logano. Krista?
And Joey, a little sign of disappointment down here, but obviously your car's going to be good. I mean, is that indicative for how it'll be tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we'll just see. I mean, the track's going to change a lot. You know, it's quite a bit different than what we had in practice, even the track now. So, Sport Clips Toyota is actually pretty good. You know, we changed a lot in practice. We didn't start off good. We had a bunch of issues, and you know, the team just kept working, kept their head down, and kept digging at this thing, and we got a pretty good race car. So it's gonna be pretty cool.
All right, and has the momentum of the win last week, Dick Berggren.
And Stephen Wallace is watching as they prepare the backup car. He has determined that he ran over a wrench on the racetrack, which caused a tire to go down. What was it like inside the car as that tire was going down and you were going as fast as you were going and it began to get out of your control?
Pretty bad feeling. Our U.S. Fidelis Chevrolet was really good. You know, I just, you know, went up there and watched the replay, and you know, there's a big piece of chrome that shoots out of the right rear. The next thing you know, the right rear tire blows out and I spin out and hit the wall. So that's all it is. But our backup car is a really good car. It's just going to give us a big incentive to really drive hard tonight, get a good finish for these boys. You know, we've been running real good. You know, we've been top 10 in the death, and we're going to do it tonight again. You know, we'll just get this old hot rod running a little better, and we'll be all right.
All right. Wish you better luck tonight. Thank you.
Any way of telling that he's Rusty Wallace's son?
Hot rod?
Yeah.
That's an apple that didn't fall far from the tree. Joe Nemechek, 18th in series points, looking for his second top 10 start here in that Chevrolet. Toyota in the Cup Series, Chevy in the Nationwide Series. For Joe, 13th with a 27.96.
That was pretty decent.
Jason Leffler next up. In the Great Clips Toyota, 6th in the standings with 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. This will be his 10th race at Phoenix. He has 2 poles here and a runner-up finish.
I wonder if he qualifies up front. Will they let Dick interview him again?
Why not?
Why not?
This will be his 195th start in the series. 8 career poles, 2 wins.
He really dove down in turn 1 too, Mike, and was really good to the middle of the corner. And then the thing decided she wanted to go straight. Very loose right there. He's gonna have to regroup here, Mike, and try to get it going on lap 2.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be the second lap.
Yeah, but getting that loose right there is really gonna hurt his momentum even for lap 2. That's a bad place to lose a lot of momentum.
Yeah, because his coming to the flag speed would be way down, but it meant he could carry more speed through 1 and 2 because his corner entry speed wasn't as high. Look at this for a pickup. Getting better. It's a good lap for Jason. Nice recovery. 7th for Leffler, 27.69.
I was going to say, for all that drama, very good job by Jason Leffler to concentrate.
Krista?
Carl down here talking to some of the guys, trying to find out some of the times from the other guys, but a big handshake because for now you were on the pole and you had to keep things interesting. You didn't even get as much practice as these other guys today.
Yeah, we'll see if that holds up, but that's all about my guys. I mean, you know, Darren Beach and the guys, Darren came over and just said, that makes it worth it, you know. So we tore off the right side of the that Aflac Fusion in practice, and that's a great lap. We didn't make a practice run. I was all screwed up on my, my points from running the Cup car, but it's cool. We got Aflac on board, Scott, Save-A-Lot, and it's a Subway weekend, so there's a lot riding on this as far as I want to do well for my sponsors, and hopefully that holds up and we have a good race tonight.
All right, thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Krista. Jason Keller, 464 starts counting tonight. The Kleenex Cottonelle Ford. 11 poles, 10 victories. Right now he's 10th in points. For the best finish of 9th at Daytona this year.
We followed him in practice some, Mike, and he never really got the feel he wanted inside of this race car. He had a hard time getting the car to turn a whole time during practice and hadn't made a whole lot of progress, doesn't look like, to this point in qualifying. That's a surprise because this is the kind of racetrack Jason Keller usually runs very well at.
15th on his first lap. Just under 28 seconds. He's going to get a little more. Moves him up to 13th, 27.93. Coming up, Michael Annett, Brian Scott, David Green. Speed's coverage of NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing info, visit toyotaracing.com. Toyota, moving forward. Michael Annett's first of 2 laps is the quicker. 28.16 for the Des Moines, Iowa driver puts him 20th on the list, looking to make his first Phoenix start. And now the number 10 Great Clips entry for Boise, Idaho's Brian Scott. Made his debut at Nashville, started 24th, finished 25th. He has 2 truck races here, though.
He was 21st fastest in practice. Mike ran a 27.94. So off of that, almost a 1/10 of a second off of that. We'll see if he can pick up on lap 2. Good opportunity for Brian in this 10 car. Pretty good race car for him.
And this looks like a great lap.
Oh, he got loose, Mike.
Oh, was a great lap.
It was a great lap. Just trying to get that extra little bit, Mike. We've seen 3 or 4 drivers do it.
Had a good lap going until 3 and 4 second lap and got loose in the center when I tried to get back on the gas.
So Scott is 18th. Dick?
Well, Paul Menard is a relative rookie in nationwide racing. He has only 8 starts, but he surely has caught on very quickly. At Texas, qualified, where did you qualify? 3rd, finished 5th, and practiced 4th out there today. How have you caught on so quickly to these cars?
Well, I mean, we have a really good car. I mean, Matt Pusha is doing a good job with all the guys on the Richmond water heaters, Ford Fusion, and another fast car today. So Carl ran pretty fast there, so that's going to be a long shot. But we got a shot at a top 5 start maybe. And biggest difference is just jumping between the cars today. You got to pick up your braking points and everything a little bit differently. But we'll see what we got.
Okay, good luck with it.
Thanks, Dick. David Green, the 1994 Series champion, on track for his qualifying run. This is his 9th appearance at Phoenix, running here for SK Motorsports.
Paul Menard talking about the braking points, Mike. It really is difficult for a driver a day like today when you're back and forth. Those Sprint Cup cars are a lot heavier, a lot more straightaway speed, and it takes a lot more to woe those cars down.
David Green was 29th in practice. He's 24th right now, 28.34. PMCLife.com Toyota. Not finding the speed that David Green needs. Picks up 1 spot, 23rd. X-Men Origins Wolverine slashes its way to a movie screen near you May 1st. Brandon Witt will be next up in his specialty racing Ford. Comes in here 20th in points, making his 23rd career start and his 2nd at Phoenix.
The West Coast boy from El Cajon, California, just like our Sprint Cup champion Jimmy Johnson. Brandon was 31st fastest in practice and having a hard time getting a hold of the racetrack also, Mike. Slipping and sliding around, just can't get the grip he needs.
Got a good line. He's not over driving the racetrack, but again, the car just doesn't seem to have the speed. 25th, 28.48 on the first lap. That time he took it a lot deeper into turn 1, and you saw what happened. When the tracker jumps left,
then
hard entry,
right,
and then jumps back right as you pay the price. Might pick up a little here on lap 2. Nope, 2nd lap, same as the first.
Need to remember all these cars that are currently going, Mike, are already locked in the show, so no harm, no foul for Brandon Witt. He can still start this race and get 200 laps in and still try to get a decent finish out of it. So this guy, Justin Allgaier, getting ready to go on the racetrack right now, Mike, is one guy that I really think has a lot of potential. I know Roger Penske and his organization is very high on him. We'll see what he can do today, but this kid is showing a lot of promise.
Oh, I agree. The Verizon Dodge leads the Rookie of the Year standings by 5 points over the much more seasoned Brendan Gaughan. And around he goes.
I spoke too soon. Stop it.
Oh, that hurt. The car, at least.
Guys, we're going to need to get a backup car out.
I don't know what happened right there, but it just took off.
Now, Hermie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that section of the track is protected by a safer barrier. I think that's concrete that he hit. Let's have a look.
He's still trying to get going to come to get the green flag. Got down on the apron a little bit, trying to get the car to cut a little bit. Maybe just took a little bit of wedge out right there. And you're right, Mike. No safer barrier right there. That's all concrete. See him get down on that apron, Mike. He went down, I'm not saying too low because I don't know what he's been doing in practice, but you go down on that apron, it takes a lot of wedge out of the car and just turn him right around. Very disappointing. He was 6th fastest in practice, Mike. Had a really strong car in practice.
So they'll haul Avondale's car back to the garage. Now, he did not take the green flag, so we'll update you here in a minute. Speed Radio weekend preview with Rob D'Amico every Friday of race weekend on Fox Sports Radio. Speed personalities, speedtv.com racing experts. Speedtv.com, keyword Speed Radio. Have another look at Justin Allgaier's crash here. And right there, he lets off the brake and doesn't lock it down again, Hermie, till the car is almost right up to the wall.
Yeah, and all that happens so fast, but what you'd like to do in that kind of situation is either stay on the brake the whole time or preferably stay on the gas, on the accelerator to keep the rear tire spinning, to keep the back end of the car off the wall. But just a tough break. He wasn't expecting that. You could tell. He got down on the apron and flopped around real quick. And this is not going to help Ken Butler either. Another rookie trying to get some seat time to see a guy right in front of you spin out as well. And looks like he's only going to run one lap.
No, Butler just locks in a safe lap, 29.23, and he is one and done. Now, in Allgaier's case, he might not have been able to avoid the wall,
right?
But it looks like he could have taken steps to minimize that impact.
Yeah, I just think all that happened so fast. He had such a good car. It just, and he said it in his when he keyed the mic. Don't know what happened there. Just spun around before he knew it. But in time, he will learn. You know, your instincts tell you to stay on the accelerator and try to keep it off the wall. And like you say, it may not have made much difference, but it's very disappointing. Now we've got Justin Allgaier and Steve Wallace, Mike, that have to go to backup cars to start this race tonight with no laps on the racetrack on those cars. So they have a big challenge ahead of them, both those teams.
All right, one more driver to go, and then we move into knockout qualifying with 17 drivers, hopeful of 13 starting positions. We're going to have a look at the racetrack before they send Mike Bliss, who is the one remaining driver who is locked into the field. Mike has a Truck Series win here, 3 USAC Silver Crown victories, including that 93 win we talked about in the practice show over Tony Stewart, and a USAC Sprint Car win here at Phoenix. NASCAR officials out there looking over track condition. So I'm wondering, Dick, since they're checking the track after Ken Butler's run, could there have been something on the track when Justin Allgaier got to turn 3?
Well, let's ask him. Was there something on the racetrack that caused you to spin?
I'm not sure. You know, we felt like we had a really good car for qualifying. Just went out there and you know, we really were pushing it. You know, we knew that the track was down on overall grip, and everybody on the Verizon Wireless team was just trying to get in a solid effort in qualifying, and just got turned around there and, you know, tried saving it, but there's just not much you can do in that situation.
Now you're going to have to start at the back of the pack in a car that you've had no practice in whatsoever. Have you ever done anything like this before?
I have, but I'll tell you what, I got a great crew behind me. Everybody on the Verizon Wireless team's great. The backup car is probably just as good, if not better. Everybody at Penske Racing's done a good job of giving us great cars all year, so I have faith in the guys. We just we got to come from the back, but that makes it even better when you can run up front then.
And the boss man, Roger Penske, is here, and I talked to him a little while ago before you spun out, by the way, and Roger has just nothing but praise for this young man, thinks he's going to go a long way, and we think so too.
We agree, Dick. I think he's got a bright future in this business. Just a tough day today.
Mike, I got to say, we've talked about him on the racetrack. He didn't get the lap he wanted, but that was a interview of a veteran right there. The way he handled the interview, very positive, upbeat. He really handled that with a lot of class. But you know, A lot of times you get in there, you want to start pointing fingers and doing all that, but he handled it just like you need to.
You also saw Steve Wallace's crew preparing his backup car. A wrench that appeared to fall off Wallace's car cut his right rear tire and put him into the wall. So Mike Bliss will be the final driver who is locked into the show to take time. He's 11th in the point standings. He's gained 8 positions in the last 2 races. There's a little different line coming off turn 2.
Got a good lap going though, Mike.
He gets down, gets a little bit of that apron in turn 3, not as much as Allgaier did. Good top 10 run, solid for Mike Bliss. He is 9th with a 27.73.
Very good lap. We'll see if he can pick it up a little bit in lap 2. This is a team, we talk about it a lot, but one of the Nationwide Series regulars that you would expect. If there's one that can get up there and challenge the Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch's, with the experience of Mike Bliss, and this race team's been around a long time, they should be able to do it.
Had a big toss and catch it entering turn 3, so the second lap for Bliss will be slower. So Mike Bliss is 9th, and now we'll move to knockout qualifying. 17 drivers, and 4 will go home. The first of those will be Darrell Haar. Based on practice times, Haar is on the bubble. From St. Albert, Alberta, veteran of the Camping World West Series with 3 top 5s and 21 top 10s there. He's 26 years old and looking to make his nationwide debut. Yesterday in the Camping World West race, he started 25th and finished 13th. This is the Thirst Buster Chevrolet.
This is when things are going to get interesting, Mike, when you're looking at grip on the racetrack, because these guys had no choice but to try to step it up from where they were in practice. And so these next group of cars in knockout qualifying should be interesting to watch.
First lap for Haar, 26th overall, 28.38.
He picked up from practice. That's what you're looking for right now, Mike, is a little bit of pickup from practice, and he's got even a better lap 2 going.
And he needs some insurance because his practice speed would have put him right on the bubble. Good lap. Very nice, 20th.
Nice job right there, Mike.
28.38, and he should be safe with that lap.
Picked it up to 28.10 lap 2, all the way up to 20th. Great pickup from practice.
Yeah, there's a lot of veterans here to be happy with that performance. So 20th for Darrell Haar.
He was 41st.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Listen to that, a lot of excitement, Mike. He was 41st fastest in practice, picked it all the way up to right now, sitting inside the top 20. Like to hear that excitement on the radio, Mike.
You bet. Here's the Zaxby's Ford for 19-year-old John West Townley. RAB racing with Brack Maggart, 29th in points, but 2 DNFs the last 4 races. He has 1 previous start at Phoenix, finished 7th in ARCA last year. Let's see what he can do.
He did not have a very good corner in turns 1 and 2, Mike, on lap 1. We'll see if he can get it sorted out here, and picks it up a little bit at the other end of the track.
Yeah, but I think right now with 30 drivers posting times, you're going to need to be a little better than 25th. 28.21 is the time for Townley. Gets a much better exit off turn 2. And gives up a bit going into 3. Didn't use up the racetrack. This lap will be slower. So John West's going to have to wait a while to see his fate after running nearly identical laps. He is 25th.
He was really having to work the throttle, getting off the corner, trying to find that grip the forward bite. He was fighting it right there a little bit. We'll have to wait and see how that stacks up. Now, Terry Cook, the 91, had a very good practice session. He was in the top 10 in practice.
Cook is 6th in the Camping World Truck Series standings. Top 15 finishes, or top 15 starts, excuse me, his last 2 races. Driving for MSRP Motorsports. Wow. Boy, that's using up all the
I was going
racetrack.
to say, that's one extreme to the other. He's using every inch of real estate he's got, Mike.
P12 for Terry Cook, 27.77. Good lap.
Whoa.
Oh, hit the wall. Yeah, he wanted it all and got a little more than he bargained for. That'll be it.
Yeah, he's cracked the wall a little bit in practice too, Mike. Same place, coming off turn 2, bumped it. And obviously lap 2 will be a little bit slower, but a good lap 1 and not a terrible amount of damage on the right side. It doesn't look like, Mike, but he hit it pretty good.
And NASCAR officials will be out to check the track after this.
Get his attention.
There's a lot of tire marks in that one place. And the good news for Terry is that was the safer barrier, so it didn't inflict the damage that concrete would have done. A lot of trash way up at the top of the track, but way up and out of the groove. So Cook is the fastest of the go-or-go homers. He is 12th overall with a 77. Little rubbing compound. That'll be fine. Cosmetic damage.
She's just ready to race now, Mike.
He just gussied it up a bit, right? Paul Menard next, then fan favorite Mike Harmon, Hamlin, Hendrick, Wimmer. Here's the top 10, and all of these are drivers locked into the field. Paul Menard is next. So here is Menard in the Richmond Water Heaters. Menard's number 98 Ford Fusion for Yates Racing. 2 starts in 09. Both produced top 15 finishes, including a 3rd place start with a 5th place finish in Texas. He won a NASCAR Southwest Series race here in 2002. Nice, smooth, good-looking lap.
Fourth fastest in practice. We'll see if he can bag that up. Looks like he's right on top of it, but a top 5.
I like that lap, Hermie. That car never looked out of shape. And Menard is 4th with a 27.54.
He's got a good combination of being fast and looking stable on the racetrack.
That is the 3rd fastest first lap of the day. He wants more.
You're going to get a little bit more too, it looks like.
3rd for Paul Menard with a 27.39. Nice pickup. Coming up, Mike Harmon, Kevin Hamlin, Kenny Hendrick. Vote is back. Mike Harmon was slowest in practice, and he backs it up in qualifying. 29.36 on his first lap, so he is 33rd in the DAB Constructors Chevy. That will lock Paul Menard into the race. Krista?
Well, Terry Cook had an interesting qualifying session. We were using, I guess, the ping pong method. We're showing the this side of the 91 MSRP Chevrolet because the other side's a little dinged up.
Yeah, the driver, we're going to have a talk with the driver when we get done with qualifying here. He's hit that thing twice now today. I just scrubbed a little bit in, practice doing a simulated qualifying run, and we made some adjustments. Robert Huffman and the entire crew here has done a great job preparing a good car every week, been qualifying well, and the car was just a little too tight back to the throttle, and I thought we were going to be fine, and I got up there, and as I got there, I heard like sand hitting the crush panel, so I think there was a little dirt up by the fence, or at least that's the excuse I'm going with right now, and we just rubbed it, but it'd be okay for tonight's race.
All right, thanks, Terry. Just using all the racetrack, right, Mike?
That's it. Kevin Hamlin from Snohomish, Washington on track. This is the Jimmy Means Racing Chevrolet. Jimmy, a former driver in the Sprint Cup Series from Huntsville, Alabama. Last week, I believe, Means was inducted into the Huntsville Area Athletic Hall of Fame, the very first auto racing driver to receive that honor. So attaboy, Smut. We're proud of you.
And he just picked up about 6/10 from what he ran in practice. He was only 46th fastest in practice, so a good pickup, Mike.
Well, we're proud of him too. So Hamlin locks Terry Cook into the field. Krista?
And we've caught up with Paul Menard. Paul, a great run for you. Talk about your car. How's it going to be for tonight?
Well, I hope pretty good. Obviously it's the hottest it's been all day, and it's just going to get cooler from here on out, so hopefully we don't get too tight. But I was really happy with the way it drove in race runs, and probably have to free it up just a little bit to start the race, but we'll see.
All right, Paul Menard, third quick for now.
Thanks, Krista. Kenny Hendrick was 11th of the Go-Or-Go-Homers in practice, driving this Dodge for Smith Ganassi Racing. Started 10th at Bristol, finished 12th at Las Vegas. He's 23rd in points, and he's got to go. 33rd, I don't think, is going to make the show here, Hermie. He's got a 28.74 on his first lap.
Yeah, he needed to pick up 2 or 3 tenths at least, Mike, to feel like he's got any chance of being safe anyway to get in this show, and he's on it right now.
Boy, Hendrick left a lot of racetrack up there in turn number 4, and he picks up 1 spot, 28.60, and that locks Darrell Haar into the race.
It's going to be close, Mike.
Yeah, right now the bottom 4 are Townley, Hamlin, Hendrick, and Harmon. And a big question mark on Kenny Hendrick right now. Scott Wimmer in the Key Motorsports StopRepairBills.com Chevrolet has 1 pole and 6 wins in this series, including 1 at Phoenix, came in 2002. He was 3rd among the Go-Or-Go-Homers in practice behind Menard and Cook. Let's see if Wimmer can lock himself into the show. To do so, he's got to be to the left of the green line. That is John West Townley.
He's going to do that easily, Mike. Good run.
Yeah, solid run for Wimmer, 16th, and he's in the race at a 27.89. So 3rd among the Go-Or-Go-Homers in practice, and 3rd among them right now is Scott Wimmer. Might get just a little more here on this second lap. Picks up 1 more spot, 15th with a 27.83. Good run. Next, Curtis Davis, Casey Atwood, and then Dave Blaney. Curtis Davis for Jay Robinson Racing, the GetMoreVacations.com Chevrolet. He has timed himself in 19th overall, 27.95 for Davis.
Good run for Curtis.
And here is Casey Atwood for Day Motorsports, the 31W Insulation Ford, trying to make his 5th Phoenix start, and he needs to beat a 28.21 to do that. Casey was 10th in practice among the go-or-go homers.
We're in a 28.40 in practice line, so needs to pick it up a little bit.
The green line and the tracker is John West Townley. Either he or Atwood will lock into the field with this run. 28.25, not enough.
Full 1,000ths of a second Mikey needs to pick up right here.
Needs a good launch off the corner here. Gets it. Wow, a must do for Casey Atwood, and he does. 28.05. He is in the show, and the bottom four remain Townley, Hamlin, Hendrick, and Harmon. Krista.
After Scott Wimmer's lap, he said, I told you guys we have a good car. We are almost there. How close are you with this group?
Well, pretty close. We've been working real hard. Gary Showalter's been doing a great job, and got to thank Stop Repair Bills. They were a big part of this, and we're getting there. We're getting close. We missed a couple races earlier this year. That was pretty heartbreaking, but we're getting there. We're gonna run good here soon.
All right, Scott Wimmer has something here too. He's a former winner. He knows where victory lane is at this racetrack.
Thanks, Krista. Dave Blaney, teammate to Terry Cook for MSRP Motorsports, the Humphreys and Parsons entry. Still the time to beat, 28.21. Where that green line is John West Townley. Blaney being a little tentative on lap one, perhaps.
He ran a 28.11 in practice, so we know the speed is there. And Dave's a good qualifier too, Mike.
Yeah, he was 6th fastest in practice of this group. The first lap, not too sporty, 33rd, but look at the big jump up. And he managed to save most of that coming off turn 2. And away it goes down the backstretch.
It's going to be close. He's right on top of where he needs to be. Needs another good exit off turn 4 back to the line.
Good mid-corner speed. It's going to be close. Yes, Blaney 28.18 to Townley's 28.21. Blaney is in. Woo, that's close. Speed's presentation of NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying is brought to you by Honda Generators. Honda, the power of choice. Andy Ponstein trying to make his first Nationwide Series start at Phoenix. Doesn't look like he'll make it. 28.86. Second slowest of the go-or-go homers. That does finally lock John West Townley into the race at a 28.21. And now here is Brian Keselowski in the number 26 from Michigan.
He was 43rd fastest in practice. Mike ran a 28.54. He needs to run a 28.21 to get in the show. Lap 1 not going to get it done, a 28.81.
And right now the bottom four, Hamlin, Hendrick, Ponstein, and Harmon. So this could lock Kevin Hamlin in unless Brian Keselowski can pick it up. Trying to make his second Phoenix start. And it's not quick enough. He locks Hamlin in. He's not out of it yet. There are still half a dozen, well, 4 more cars to go. Mark Green will make his second start of 2009. He is handily in the show. That knocks out Mike Harmon, sends Harmon home. Austin Dillon, grandson of Richard Childress, last year was Rookie of the Year in Camping World East, driving the black car with Childress's trademark number 3 on it. He is the older of Mike Dillon's 2 sons, 18-year-old high school senior in Louisville, North Carolina. And on this car, RCR thanking Chevrolet for their years of help to the team. Austin's got to go here. That green line represents Brian Keselowski. And Austin's first lap is not quick enough by 5/1000ths.
He was pretty good in practice. Mikey was 27th fastest, so I expect him to be able to pick this up. But a lot of pressure on a young rookie. like this when you have to step up and get it done at the right time. Let's see if he can get a good run off this corner. Looks like he'll do that.
He was 4th of the go-or-go-homers in practice. Nice pickup on the second lap. And Austin Dillon will race 34th overall with a 28-23. He is in the show. Andy Ponstein goes home. Krista.
And someone else who is in is Dave Blaney, and real close to the green line on that run. He made it dramatic, but you're in with Terry Cook, the 2 MSRP cars.
Yeah, I don't think I did a very good job. I think that car's a lot faster than I am. Just made a few laps this morning in it, and I just, it's tough to get on to with these restrictor plates in them, how to get them going, and I didn't do very good.
Dave Blaney will be okay for tonight.
Thanks, Krista. 2 cars to go. Dennis Setzer and Johnny Borneman. Here is Borneman in the Borneman Plastering Redline Oil Ford Fusion from out of Ramona, California, near San Diego. Kevin Cram, the crew chief. And his last race was here in 2008, as he has made 3 attempts unsuccessfully to run this season. It's going to be Kenny Hendrick or Johnny Borneman right here. And Borneman's in 35th overall with a 28-29. Kenny Hendrick goes home. He's going to get a good pickup on lap 2.
Car actually looks pretty good, Mike. He's got a pretty good attitude. Looks like he's in the racetrack pretty good, and he's doing a good job of driving. He's going to have a big pickup on lap 2.
Borneman ran yesterday here in the Camping World West race. And he goes to 26th on his second lap with a 28-11. So it's down to the final qualifier, and it will be either Dennis Setzer or Brian Keselowski for the final spot in the field. Now the problem there is blood versus money, because Setzer's crew chief is Ron Keselowski. So it's all in the family, and they've got a problem there with the Setzer car. And they are on the 5-minute clock. Once your time to go comes up, if you have a problem, NASCAR allows you 5 minutes to present the car to the line ready to qualify. We are told the car will not start.
Mike, right here is Bob Keselowski, the dad of Brian and Brad Keselowski, and a pretty good racer in his own right. Former Camping World Truck Series competitor.
I guess, you know, they want to try to give Setzer a good, a good enough effort and an opportunity to qualify. But, you know, the question is, would you rather have Dennis Setzer in the field or Brian Keselowski?
It's a good question.
And I think we'll have it answered here inside of 5 minutes now, because Brian is on the bubble with a 28-54. Already knocked out Kenny Hendrick, Andy Ponstein, Mike Harmon.
You think if it was a starter issue, if they could push it and get it going. But we'll see what they decide to do here, or if they anything they can do down there on pit road.
And since they haven't, the only guess I have is that the starter's engaged and locked up. Down to 2 minutes.
Looks like he just called it off.
I think they're throwing in the towel. So that would mean Carl Edwards would be on the pole and Joey Logano would share the front row. Paul Menard third. And there's the man who is going to be your pole winner. Third pole of the season for Edwards. Second straight front row start for Logano. Dick Berggren.
Well, you're in a good mood today. 14th career pole. How did you do it with so little time in the car?
I don't know. My guys did a great job fixing it. They told me that made it all worth it, all the work they had to do. So just I got to thank Aflac for being on board. It's very cool for them to come on this race. We got the subway car we've got to go qualify here in a minute, and I hope it's as fast. You know, just a great surprise. Didn't expect to be up there, and I hope that carries over to the race tonight.
All right, we wish you well in the race tonight and in qualifying for Cup.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's his 14th Nationwide Series pole and his second Phoenix pole in 9 races. And he wins the pole in consecutive starts for the 2nd time in his nationwide career. Nice run by Paul Menard.
Yeah, great run by Paul Menard. Kyle Busch inside of row 3. Brad Keselowski inside row 4.
How about Busch and Harvick, the 2 combatants side by side right there in row 3. Mike Bliss steady as always. And the fastest of the Go Homers was Menard, and then Cook and Wimmer.
Give a call to Eric McClure also. He
Yep.
qualified 18th. Good run for him.
Daryl Harr from Canada going to get to run this race. Borneman from California. And a lot of Go Homers. Austin Dillon from North Carolina in the Childress car. And Brian Keselowski gets the final spot in the field. The Go Homers: Kenny Hendrick, Andy Ponstein, Mark Harmon, and Dennis Setzer. Steve Wallace and Justin Allgaier will have to run this race in backup cars. NASCAR Live on the other side of the break, and then Sprint Cup qualifying. Carl Edwards wins the pole for the Bashas 200.